Hey guys, it's Jojo here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing another video. If you guys have not checked out my video reaction review on Everything and Wonder Woman, that is a video I just uploaded about an hour ago, so you guys should definitely go and check it out. But for this video I'm going to be doing my review on Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffany's and Other Stories collection. Now, I have seen the movie. I did see the movie before I read this book, and Breakfast at Tiffany's is it's probably my third favorite Audrey Hepburn film, and stay tuned because I will be doing my top 5 favorite Audrey Hepburn films, but at least you guys know definitely what will be on my third, and that is this book. I fell in love with Audrey Hepburn because of this film, and it's just such a classic and so iconic. And so naturally, when I heard that it came from a short story written by Truman Capote, I knew I had to pick it up, especially being an English major. He is probably one of the most quoted authors amongst English majors. So I finally read Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I thought it was just simply fantastic. Just to let you guys know what it is about a writer who basically falls in love with Holly Golightly, a very erratic girl who is his neighbor, and he tries to understand her and he grows feelings for her, and it's just really just the story of her, really. And I don't want to go too much into it at this point in the video because I don't want to have any spoilers. I should let you guys know I'm so sorry about the lighting. I know it's off, but it is before twilight hits, basically. So that is why the lighting is a bit off. But yeah, so that is what Breakfast at Tiffany's is. This book actually has 3 other stories, which is House of Flowers, The Diamond Guitar, and A Christmas Memory. So I originally wanted to do separate videos on each short story, but I don't think that would be necessary. So I would just be comprising all my thoughts into this one video about all these stories. So I'm going to try to hit it. I've noticed that my videos are a little bit lengthy, and I'm trying to get better at time. So if you guys have not read the short story or have not seen Breakfast at Tiffany, I would highly suggest that you probably pause the video here because from this point on it will be full of spoilers. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. Now, Breakfast at Tiffany's, one of the things I really love is Holly Golightly's character. Not only is she erratic, but she's also a promiscuous character, and that is one thing that you don't really see in the film, because Audrey Hepburn, she is very sexy in a very classy and elegant way in the film, and I think that is what made her, Holly Golightly, so iconic in the film, because of the elegance that Audrey Hepburn naturally has and the grace. But the character in real life in the short story actually is, she has very loose morals when it comes to men. Originally, she was a child bride that came in from, I believe, Ohio or some middle state like that, and came to New York basically to escape her adult husband, and to try to find herself in the big city. And in doing that, the only way that she was able to make an income is by basically being with different men, and who will leave money in the powder room for her. And so a lot of people have debated whether she was a call girl or whether she was a gigolo or whatever the fact may be, but at the end of the day, that is the way that she made her living, and that is the way that she was able to afford to live in the apartment building that she was in. Now, another thing that is known about Holly Golightly is that her affiliation with the criminal at Sing Sing, I forgot his name, but basically she is also very, very naive. She doesn't really fully measure the extent of her actions, and she doesn't have a very critical mind to make her question things based on decisions that she makes. And in this book, we see that so well. And we see the writer, another thing too is we see, I forgot the name of the writer's name. I always forget his name. But another thing that we see about him is that he is he's a very sexually ambiguous character. You know, and as well as we see that he is in awe of Holly, romantically, yes, but at the same time, he is very skeptical of her. He tries to see if she's a phony or not. Is she real or not? And that's one of the things that even as the story ends and the way that she disappears at the end, you know, he never hears from her again, and he finds her cat, contrary to the movie where she runs back into his arms and they find the cat and all that. That doesn't happen in the short story. In the short story, she does actually go away and leaves the cat behind, and he finds her cat and basically finds the cat has a home, and he hopes in his heart that Holly finds a home in the world as well. And that's something that Truman, I think, does so well in all of his stories. He leaves an open-ended question of each one of the characters that he that is his main character. And it's the same way about life, and I think that is why he should be celebrated. I really loved The House of Flowers. The House of Flowers is a lot more of a simple plot. It's about a prostitute in Port-au-Prince who falls in love with a gambler. Like he puts his chicken in cockfights, and she falls in love with him, and she runs, and she's able to leave her life of prostitution and becomes a wife, living with his erratic grandmother. And when his grandmother passes away through suspicion of voodoo, she believes that she is haunted by the grandmother, and because of that, her husband forcibly ties her to a tree to ward off the spirits. And I think that The House of Flowers really plays around with voodoo, superstition, and of course, you know, the exercise of free will, because at the end, her friends from the brothel come and try to rescue her, and she chooses to stay with her husband instead of going back to the life that she had. And even though it is two forms of oppression for a woman, she's still very independent in a way in terms of deciding what the fate of her life is. And I think in The House of Flowers, I really, really connected with that. Not only because it is set in Haiti, which is where my parents are from, but also because of the subtle and passive independence that the woman shows in that story. Now, the two last stories is The Diamond Guitar and A Christmas Memory. I'm going to go through those really quick. Those stories didn't leave as deep as an impression on me as the two other stories before that I just talked about, because, I don't know, they just didn't seem that interesting. Like, A Diamond Guitar was about a prisoner who fell in love with another man, and which was cool because it was an open gay relationship and platonic at the same time, and they both tried to attempt to escape. I didn't really connect to it because I didn't really see where the story was headed. It didn't have enough teeth for me like the two other stories. And A Christmas Memory was nice. It was a nice story. It was a story about a boy and his friendship with an older woman he calls his best friend. And the woman is very childlike, and you kind of wonder if she has a mental disorder, maybe because or she has the capacity, a very limited capacity. But and it's basically their friendship, and then he writes the story as the memory that the last Christmas memory he had before he was sent away from the woman. And basically we learn at the end that she had just died. He just got the news, and so he was reveling in his memory. And it was nice, but it wasn't as good as the two other stories I just said. So I highly recommend you guys read this. I gave it a 4 stars out of 5 on Goodreads, so I highly suggest you check it out. I will be reading In Cold Blood by Truman Capote because I really love his writing style. Anyway, if you guys read this book, let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. And yeah, I will see you in my next book review. Bye.